Hi everyone, I'm Subbaradi. Today we are here to discuss about some administration part in Teams admin portal. So when you open admin.teams.microsoft.com, right? So here you will be able to see all the settings related to Teams. But today we are majorly to discuss about how to manage apps like the setup policies, permission policies, how you can manage third-party apps or whatever the apps built in your organization, right? So how to manage those apps, I will try to explain those scenario. So here if you go to under Teams apps and if you open manage apps, so here you will be able to see all the apps which are available by default, and you can also upload the new apps, whatever the apps built in your organization, you can upload those manifest files, those apps you can upload it here. So these are the, for example, these are the third-party apps. Some of them are third-party apps which are not published by Microsoft, but those are approved to publish in all tenants. So you can define those settings using argivide app settings. So for example, if you don't want to use any third-party apps in your organization, if you don't want your organization users to access those apps, you can disable that. And whether you want to allow any new third-party apps to publish in the store by default or not. For example, if you agree to use your organization users to access these apps, but not any new apps, then you can disable this setting. So in the same way, if you want any disable any interaction with custom apps, you can do that using this setting. So based on this one, this apps availability for the users will be depend, and you can search for the apps and you can upload it. You can allow particular app or you can block particular app. So that's particular settings can be done here. And once you upload any app, right? So for example, today let's discuss about one scenario. For example, if an organization contain two different departments or in single tenant, but two different, for example, two different organizations merged, and set of functionalities or set of apps will be completely different what is required for two organizations which are there in same tenant. So you can easily manage using this app setup policies and permission policies. So for example, if you just upload one app, that app should be available only for your particular department users, should not available for other department users. So you can manage that using app setup policies. So before doing that, first you upload the app, make it available in the organization tenant catalog. So upload it here, and then navigate to setup policies, app setup policies. So this is global archive default policy, right? So this is the default policy which is applied to all the organization users by default. But of course, you will have option to change it. So first, let's see where this policy was applied for the users. So let me just go to user section. So for my account or any other, I have two accounts only. But if you open the particular account, right, you will see this policy section. And here you will be able to see what is the policy applied for this particular user. This particular app setup for this user, global default policy was applied, as well as app permission policies also, global archive default policy was applied. So if you want to change that, you may create new app policy. So for example, here I can click on app setup policy, new policy here, and so I would say custom policy one. Okay. So when you create the policy, you need to manage these settings or how you want to use it in your organization. You can add the description and upload custom apps. So if you enable this option and if you assign this policy to particular user, right, they will be able to upload the custom apps for their own. So for example, if this setting is enabled, then users will be able to use these apps here, upload custom app, right? Here, this option will be enabled for the end users to whomever that policy is applied. they will be able to see the setting upload for me or my teams. This is for only for global admin, it will be available. For end users, this setting will be enabled or available based on this setting. If you disable this one, then that particular setting or users will not able to upload the manifest file. So that is for the upload custom app setting. And allow user pinning. The user pinning means, for example, here we are, if we publish different bots or if we edit tabs or apps, right? So users will be able to pin, right click on it and click on pin, so that that will be displayed in the left rail directly. So whenever they open Teams, that particular planner app will be displayed for the users. So in the same way, not only planner, but any custom apps or any apps, if they pin it, they will have option to pin it and as per the user preferences. So that is for the allow user pinning. If you don't want your users to do that, and as an admin you want to manage that, then you can disable this option. And install apps. So if you want to install a particular set of apps, for example, one new app is developed and you upload it into your tenant catalog, but users might not be aware to search and install the app. So if you want to install for all the users in organization, or if you want to install for this policy users, right? So you can click on this add apps, and you can search for that particular app and you can add it, so that this particular bot will be installed for those users. And the next section is pinned apps. Pinned apps means this is the by default setting: activity, chart, teams, calendar, calling, files. So these are the default uh, icons or default apps are available for any user. But as an admin, if you want to add some other apps in the left rail, you can add using this add apps settings. You can search for the particular app and you can add it, so that that particular app will be available. For example, Suba demo bot. I just added this one, so I just click on add. So this particular app will be added in the left rail for all the users to whomever this policy is applied, and you will be have option to move up and down, move up. So if you want to just display on top of it, so that every user will get identification, or will see the tab, right? If you want to move it to top, you can move it and click on save. So once this policy is created, this is like a setup policy is created. But to apply for the users, you just need to go back to your users and click on policies and click on edit, and then app setup policy. You change it to your custom policy, which is created newly, and you can click on apply. So it will take up to 24 hours to get reflected for these policy changes. So it will not reflect immediately for the users. So it may take up to 24 hours. So in the same way, there is a option called permission policies. So for example, if I click on, this is the global archive default policy applied for all the users in organization. And these are the settings which are available by default, like allow apps, allow third-party apps, allow Microsoft apps, allow custom apps. So you can change those options. If you want to change it for a global policy, that is also fine. You can change it. If you want to apply the same rules for all organization users, then you can directly apply in for the global policy itself. So Microsoft apps. So whatever Microsoft by default published apps, right? Do you want to allow all apps or allow specific apps and block others? Then you need to mention what are the apps which are allowed, and so that the remaining all apps will be blocked. Block specific apps and allow others. That means you need to define the apps which should be blocked. What are the apps should be blocked? What are the Microsoft apps should be blocked, right? You need to specify those apps here if you want to apply this setting. And if you want to block all the apps which are published by Microsoft, by default. You can select this Microsoft block all apps. And same way, if you go to third-party apps, you can define the same way. What are the setting you want to define? Whether you want to allow block or allow specific or allow some and block specific apps. So you can define those logics here. And whatever the apps which are developed in your organization, and you want to allow all the apps which are published, or you want to, again the same setting will be there, but whatever the case I explained in the initial page, right? For example, let me just create one permission policy one. So I will give this setting default allows all apps for Microsoft and third party, but in the custom apps. So if I say allow specific apps and block others, so I need to define what apps I should block using this permission policy. So if I say Suba demo bot, save. So the new permission policy got applied. If you use global org by default, all the apps are allowed. If you use permission policy, in this permission policy, I configure to block particular app. So for example, if I go to again user section, and if I say Suba, and then if I change it to policies, right? I can change the permission policy here. I can say permission policy one. That means in the custom policy one, I ask to add into the left navigation, but in the permission policy, I ask to block that particular app. Then the permission policy will be taken as a high priority, high rank. So that particular app will be blocked for this user. Or otherwise, for example, Discord. Let me just go to other user. So here, for example, in this section, if I say edit permission policy one, in the permission policy one, I ask to block some particular bot here. So if I apply this policy to this user, right, this user will not able to search, and they will not able to search here, or they will not able to install the particular app for that user. So you can define this applying logic, like what are the apps you need to block for some users, what are the apps should be allowed, and what are the apps you need to prepin. So all these settings will be managed through these permission policies and setup policies. But this is applying per user. So for example, if your organization contain like 1 lakh users or 50,000 users or 10,000 users, you cannot maintain through this interface. So you cannot go to every user and do this. So instead of that, you can create some DL distribution list or any AD groups, Azure Active Directory groups, and you can apply uh, bulk settings. You can write PowerShell script to apply these policies in bulk. So I actually written some blog to define that process. I will add that URL in this video. As I'm not able to cover that concept here, I will add that particular URL in the video description. So that is about the manage apps, uploading apps. To restrict some apps, you need to define permission policy, and to apply to allow user pinning, or to allow upload custom apps are disabled, right? You define these apps here. But there is a one known issue, or there is one design. By design, there is a one option here. So for example, here I actually allowed user pinning. So user pin this particular app, and he logged in user changed some order. But as an admin, I updated a policy. So for example, I just came back to global archived policy, and I just updated some settings, or I just added here and saved it. then within 24 hours this policy will get reapplied for the users, right? So whenever the policy is applied, all the pinned apps will get removed automatically, and whatever the admin selected pinned apps will be displayed, and all the user pinned selections will be ignored or removed automatically, and user need to pre-pin that particular app again if they want. So so you may think the pre-pinning uh, users will get lost of the user pinned apps. That's true, but whenever the admin updated those app setup policies, then all the user pinned apps will get cleared, and again they need to upload it. So that is one of the thing which is by design we need to consider. So that's it about the Teams app setup policies, permission policies. Thank you. Thanks for watching this video.